yesterday the screen went blank on me all of a sudden while I was working on the computer. You can still see that the video signal is there. That's the part of the desktop icons. So it looks like it's a backlight issue with the computer. It's rather a strange one. If I remove the video signal and then put it back on, pops back on for a couple of seconds and goes off again. What I think is happening, I think that the backlight is being reset once the video signal is removed, and because there's nothing to work to, and when we switch it back on, it's been reset, comes back up and goes back out again because there's some extra load being created by the fault on the backlight power supply. That's the hypothesis. Whether in practice that's what's really going wrong with it is another question. So next thing to do is take this thing apart and have a look. I do have a spare, but that's lurking somewhere else, and I'll have to go around and get it in a minute. Well, here it is. It's ACER model G245HQ, dates from 2011, and it's given us great service since then. It's been on most of the time. It's now 2025, and we seem to have developed a fault. Now, how to take it apart, I haven't got a clue, but I'm just going to start as usual, which is remove all the screws that I can see and see what happens, and after that sort of start prying things apart. Got nothing to lose, so I'll give it a go. Well, straight away, what I thought the screws were mounting holes for the wall bracket. There's a little sign over here that's got like a little padlock sign, a little slit. Goodness knows what that's for. Does this come off? That bit's off. How does the next bit come off? Curious. A couple of things got to be levered up. Need a screwdriver. I can't do it with my fingernails. Go for it. Pop that up. Yeah, a couple of screws underneath that. Pop this one up. A couple of screws underneath that. That's just to get this thing off. Let's see how to do that. Well, okay, need a Phillips screwdriver. I'll go and get one. Alright, I'm back. Let's sit down and do this. Give it a go. That's well and truly in. Oh well, that's all. Doesn't really help. small screw in the hole here, just about underneath where the bracket went. No, nothing to do with the bracket. Right, let's go and get a torch. Yeah, I got a small with another crosshead screw in there. What type, I'm not quite too sure. Hopefully that will allow me to pry the case open. Is it moving? Don't feel like it. Yeah, it is. The problem is the screwdriver is the wrong one really for the hole. These ain't going to have enough grip on them. So, we'll try and see what happens. Yeah, that's a bit of luck. Yeah, little tiny screw. Now there's a similar screw. There's a similar screw just here where all the input and output connectors go, so we'll try undoing that. And perhaps it. Yeah. It really is a question of poking up with one of these things. I've no experience of taking them apart. Other things have taken apart, but not one of these. Let's see. Padlock, I don't know what that's about. Yeah. This is going to be a nightmare. Well, I've taken out every screw that I could see. I think from here on, we're going to be very, very lucky if we get into it. Try something else. Well, I think I'm going to have to go off camera with this one because until I actually get into lifting the back cover off or getting it apart, it's probably all pressed together. Well, this is the power supply card out of the monitor. I'll deal with how to get the monitor apart when I actually put it back together because I've learnt a few things and hopefully I'll pass them on. It might be of help to somebody. There's not really much to say about it. If you're into power units, you'll just look at it and go, oh yeah, you know, yeah. Well, obviously this has got a problem. We've got two burnt capacitors and they're both on the output power supply to the backlight. I think probably just changing these two capacitors is going to do the job. I've got a bit of an ego. Common sense tells me that most of this is going to be alright. If I change those and I've assembled it all and it doesn't work, then I'll have to take it apart and then start fault finding this properly. But the sort of time factor of checking all this and finding all good components only to be humiliated and find out it's just those two things would be more soul destroying. I think it would be quicker to take the monitor apart again. So changing these, reassembling the monitor, less time. And if you're doing it as a business, which I'm not, I must hasten to add, if you're doing it as a business, time is money. If you don't know anything about power units, we're all dealing with a mains. We've got a mains input here, so don't be if you're a bit of a novice, don't be tempted to power it up and possibly expose yourself to more harm than enough. There is a lot of people that do power up these things and then power them off again, and they talk about, oh, the capacitors need discharging. Well, the only one that really needs discharging would probably be this one, because it's on the main side of things. It's a 450 volt rated capacitor, and it will hold a bit of a charge, so that one, if you want to, that's the one to discharge. Personally speaking, I've been sorry for laughing, but I've been around for a long time, and power units I've been around for a long time too. I don't bother, but that's the risk that I take. But again, experience breeds contempt, and there'll always be a first time, and that may be your last time if you've got a dick the art like I'm getting. So before I carry on with this repair, I'll solder these components off screen, because it's just soldering components. They are 10 picofarad, 3 kilovolt working, and there's not really any more to say, is there? Just to say the discoloration we see here. The board isn't charred, so I don't think we're going to have an insulation problem because of the high voltages that we'll be dealing with. You know, if it carbonises across there, then you're going to get a resistance and things ain't going to work well. But I don't think it's got to that stage yet. Also, bearing in mind the heat that's generated there, you could have a problem with PCB tracks lifting when you're desoldering, because they've been heated up quite a lot. So take a little bit of care, and it may save you doing any damage on these bits across there when you extract them. I think talking about it's longer than doing the job, so I'm going to shut up. I've not helped myself at all. Got the wrong bit on the soldering iron. I've got no rosin. I'm working standing up. I'm working in a corner out of the way. Nothing's permanent. It's shocking. It really is a demonstration of how not to do a job. And crown it all, guess what? The capacitor I was going to put in there, looks like the lead has broken off. Right, one thing after another. Right, well, let's solder one of them in. Oh dear. Everything is against me here. Yesterday, I changed the bulk seat in about 10 minutes. This job, which should take 10 minutes, is taking me, seems like forever. Changing 2 capacitors, 2 hours. I think I'll go and have a cup of tea and then clear up. Oh, that was a pain in the butt. Well, now's the time to put all this back together again, and you see that this card is almost out. And the reason behind that is that it was preferential to disconnect that. So when you come around to doing it, undo the card, take that out before you start fiddling about trying to get this out, because the connectors to the backlight on the screen are really awkward, and you need as much flexibility here to sort of allow yourself a bit of room to pull them out and things like that. I found it difficult. Now I'm wondering whether to sort of screw that in first and then do this afterwards, and I think on balance that I'll plug this back in and screw it together. I'm not sure which way round this goes. Well, that's the way. Let's take all the screws out, because, well, need them all, and they'll be sliding about underneath the boards if I carry on like this. I've already lost screws. As I said, I might as well be doing this by the roadside. It's awful. I'll not try not to work like this again. It really is poor. Wow, frustrating. Right, fix it now, so. Right, just a straightforward job. My back is killing me. I'm doing this standing up and my back is beginning to sort of hurt. Let's put the screws in. Virtually all these screws are very similar to one another. I haven't even got a screwdriver. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I do. So, if any of you are watching this, you think I live in a third world country, wouldn't you? Perhaps I do. Now, if we're lucky, it don't go that way round, does it? No, it goes that way round. If we're lucky, we'll be able to plug in with this once we've screwed it in, if we're lucky. If not, we might have to unscrew this and go in and give ourselves a bit of slack and see how it goes. I'm not feeling lucky. As there's earth planes underneath these screws, you really should make sure that they're tightened up properly. As I think the all to do with the screening that this can provides to sort of RF interference. I should say basically noise generated by the switch mode power supply. Now this one's got a little spire washer on there. That's obviously to ensure good contact, and it is a different size to the others. I won't do them much tight. No, there's no point doing them much tight, but make sure that they're done up. What's the next part? Get a screen, I suppose. Now, when it comes back to putting it back together, this is the back panel and the slots. This has to line up inside the back panel, and a sort of plastic guides for that to fit in, so it fits in quite nicely. Now, quite sturdy in there, so I'm not going to worry about it, but looks like there's screws that go through there. It may be that our last chance to tighten up these screws. Give it a bit of a tweak. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the screen connectors in. If I can't, then, oh, I don't know, should still come out easy enough. Well, would you believe it? That one feels like it's stripped. Oh, perhaps not. No, it's just not done up tight enough. Okay. Right. The edge connectors, these things need to be tightened up. I'm only doing them up finger tight. Now, hopefully you can see there's two screws got to go in here. I'm going to leave those out for a jiff. I don't know whether I can or can't. I don't know whether I can afford to leave them out or not. Perhaps I better put them in. I've got a chance. This one's in. Oh god, butchery again. Let's loosen that one off. Ah, they're in. There's a screw to go in here, and that will help line up the HDMI socket that's there. But unfortunately I haven't got that with me at present. It's 3 miles away, that screw. Put it in its position. Right, I'm ready to connect the screen. Make sure we haven't got any sharp bits on the table that would scratch it, because it's got to go face down. Really, I could do a much bigger table than this, because lots of things are overlapping. And probably, let's get the orientation of all this right. That wasn't so much trouble as I thought it was going to be. Pause here a moment while I go and check to make sure that these wires are right. I've got a picture on my mobile phone. Right. Now I'm trying to connect the cable back in, and yeah, it's going to be in the way again because I need to put a pair of magnifying glasses on to see what I'm doing. Oh, okay, fine. That's back in. I think that probably goes like that. It's not that sticky. Right. Should sit down and stay stuck down somewhere. Hopefully this fits in there. They should there. Keep that out of the way. It's going to be on that side. This little board's going to be on that side. Locate all the holes properly, just gently. Oh, all the holes seem to line up. That's obviously the best way to do it. Yeah, okay. I'm gripping the screen and the case together. I'll flip it over. Ah, well, a bit of a learning curve, isn't it? The screen seems to be in the case okay. Now this is the sort of bezel. This is the bezel. This is the bottom of the bezel, and there's clips either side of it. I'm just trying to work out where the clips are. About there, all the way around you go. You can probably just about sort of see them. And there are 4 on the bottom. 4 on each side, and 5 across the top. And you've got your work cut out, unclipping those, and I'll talk about that in a moment once I've got it back together. Now, this little board, hopefully, oh, you can't see it there. Let's move the camera a bit. This little board has got to fit into the screen bezel, and we'll do that now. Get that slotted in, hopefully. Well, that seems to be okay. Oops, pressed it out. That feels tangible. Looking good. Make sure we don't trap the cable. And line everything up. Bolts in position, right. The corners have got to be absolutely square on with one another. Right, okay, that's a nice snapping noise. Little board seems to be in place. I'll start snapping the side together. And yep, that corner goes in nicely. And it all snaps into place. Well, that's that back together. I was quite surprised that that snapped in nicely. To get it apart, I found warming up the edges with a hot air gun, not too hot, just sort of so you can still touch them. You don't want it too hot and melt everything, you just want it sort of nice and warm. Certainly helps when it comes to removing this bezel, and the way the bezel's removed, I tried prying it apart at the seam and it makes a few rough edges there which have got to be dealt with, and I was wrong. The way to do it is to be a bit brutal, and you get your hands in onto the screen and pull until it starts to come away, and you hear it unclick, and you carry on doing that all the way around, and every time you hear it click you go, oh, it's broke. But I won't go into that now because there's no need, but that's the way it's done. I found warming it up really did work for me because it was very cold and the plastic tends to go stiffer, and that's perhaps the easiest way I can put it. And oh dear, I seem to have lost another screw, probably on the floor. I'll start sorting out the back now. I've got to put the stand fittings back. I'll go and get them. Now the screws that go in here to hold this down, I've played hide and seek with me. I've got two of them. one on one side and one on the other. There is a third. Hopefully I can find it. Been on the floor twice today. Now the fourth one should be rolling around the floor here somewhere. I've searched on low for it, and I took the screw out where I'm working now and put it on the table, and of course it rolled off. There we go, nice one in. That's the other one in. The base to go on there yet. Just clips in place. Is it worth doing a job like this? Probably not. The monitor itself is quite old. I forgot what I said the year of manufacture was. What's the year of manufacture? 2011. It's now 2025, so it's had 14 years. And I think it probably about time it see the bin. Right, case is all clipped together. I'm stupid enough to plug it in and see if we get anything, but without without a video signal, I don't think I'm going to see anything, but I'll switch it on and see what happens. Switch it on. ACER. This is not connected. Let's see if we press anything else. Now, if before that would not have stayed on, that would have gone off. So, well, without a video signal, we won't know. So, I've got a feeling it's fixed. Looks okay to me.